Hello, welcome into this mystery reading. I'm Molly, the QuantumLeapQueen. Thanks for joining me on this reading. These readings are a timeless resource for you to come utilize whenever you need some extra nourishment in your life. So trust that if you found this reading today, there is a message here for you. I'm setting the intention, as always, to give you the best messages that you need to hear today. And I am starting with the Pause Tarot. Let's take a look and see what we need to discuss today about your current energy. What are we looking at today? I have the Six of Cups, the Hanged Man, the Two of Cups. Ooh, yeah. So you had a relationship in your life. This could be a current situation. This could be something from the past, but I can just see that it's brought in a lot of insights and perspectives. It could be a romantic, platonic. It could be a parent-child relationship. It could be so many things. Take it as it resonates. But I just see it as you got really close with this person. You really, really were close with this person. And there was an imbalance in this relationship. I think you were the one giving a lot, because I get that with the Six of Cups. And this being in a relationship with someone like this made you realize how much you have to give, and how you also, when you have such a big heart and are so giving, you also have to have solid boundaries around your, like, who you give to, because otherwise you're just going to keep depleting your own energy and your own resources if you're giving to someone that doesn't also replenish what you give in their own way. They're just takers, and that's what I see that this was more so. It was more of a taker that you were in a close relationship with, and it really had you realize a lot about yourself and about other people. So there was a lot that you learned going through this relationship, and that's where we need to start. What else? What else can I tell my friend about this relationship, about this situation? I have the King of Wands and I have the Knight of Cups. It was like, no matter what you did, I think you tried so hard to just like give your heart and give your all to this person. I think you went above and beyond for them. And you notice like the way that the cats are looking here, like he's offering his cup, he's offering his heart to the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is looking away, could not be bothered. And I just feel that was the attitude of this relationship. One person, you were the anxious and were overgiving, and you were trying to give to someone who you put on a pedestal above yourself. You cared more about their needs than your own. You looked so much to them for validation instead of looking for your own validation for yourself. And they themselves, that's where they get off. They're on like an egoic high. And they're really good at portraying themselves to be a certain way. The hot and cold energy, they're really good at giving you a little breadcrumb, a little attention. And then they have this attitude of like wanting people to please them in many ways. And I just see that there's such an imbalance here. So not only did you see them on a pedestal, they also see themselves on a pedestal above other people. That's so funny. I'm just remembering this story from my ex. There was a meme that he was just obsessed with, and it was like of a crow, and the caption was like, "Are other birds like worse than me? Are they less than me? Of course. Are there other birds better than me? No." And he just thought that was the funniest thing, and I just feel like that is the attitude of this person. That is the attitude of this person. It was like, yeah, of course there's people like below me, but they really struggle to see people as higher than themselves because they egoically put themselves high, because underneath the surface, there's a lot of not knowing yourself, having a lot of self-deprecating thoughts, but those don't always come out. Sometimes they're so masked by the ego because they are trying to compensate for how they truly feel underneath the surface. And they think if I can get it from the outside, then I'm fueling the empty pit of despair within me. So you were giving to someone like that, giving so much of yourself to someone with such low self-esteem, really, at the end of the day. Although it did not appear that way on the outside. But I think you have been learning that over time. And then where the shadow side is for you, that is the overgiver that's looking to validate yourself through another's acceptance. And it's been really challenging. It's kind of like so vulnerable because you give your all. Like you give your all and then some. You don't even know what you're made of until you give to someone that is a bottomless pit. And then you find out like, oh, this isn't love. And you have to pivot. And that's what I see you've been doing, is the pivoting. What else? What else can I tell my friend about this situation? I have the Queen of Cups. I think that's where you're stepping into now. It's like no longer needing to people please. No longer needing to get validation for your emotions. You've been focusing on filling up your own cup, doing the things that fulfill you. And yeah, and I think that makes you just in a more solid foundation and in a better position to therefore have a more fulfilled life and then not be attracting these kinds of relationships any longer, not tolerating them. You're able to see it from a mile away now, versus before you didn't know. You just were innocent and you didn't have the experience of it. But I think now that you have, you're coming back to yourself in a new way. You recognize how precious your heart is and how much you want to honor your heart. And you are doing that through many means, I feel like, but ultimately it's like one of the big ones is like you're no longer available for people to take advantage of you. And that is a self-honoring, self-loving thing, and that's taken some time to get into. Maybe you're still working on that. But I just see that's more of your priority now, is the protection of your own heart. I have the Star. I have the Hierophant, 2 major arcanas. This has been such deep work you've been doing. And it's involving like seeing yourself as the priority now, seeing yourself as the prize, and also like accepting you for all your facets. I think in that last relationship, there was a lot that person tried to shame you about, and in a way like fragment you. They said, okay, I like this part of you, but I don't like this part of you. And if you get really real with yourself, I would bet that that's actually how you thought about yourself too in that time. You like this aspect of you, but you don't like this aspect. And there was a lot of shame and, self-abandoning in that way. But I think you've really been working on reclaiming all of you, no longer available for fractioning. And the Hierophant is all about belief systems and looking at them, changing them. And that's what I feel that you're doing, is like, there's this huge acceptance. The Star is Aquarius energy, and it's like this big, like self-loving, self-accepting, just letting all the craziness, all that you are, all of the, it's like everything, the love, the grace, the joy, the beauty that you are, along with the messiness, the ugliness, the more negative, you could deem negative aspects of you that we've been told to repress, push away. No, they are just as important. And if you don't know them, then they have power over you. So I just see you having so much more grace and love with yourself around who you are and all the uniqueness that you hold, and like really reclaiming your power, taking it back. So many people telling you you're wrong in this way, you're messed up in this way. But really, It's because you hold such a mirror to them that it triggers them, and they think they're pointing at you, the mirror, as the issue, but really they're just looking into the mirror. So you're discarding what isn't yours to hold, and you're reclaiming the parts of yourself that haven't been held by you. So there's so much power in the work that you've been doing, and I feel like you're really starting to shine and to glow now. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to start with some oracle messages. I am going to start with the Sacred Symbols deck. What can I tell my friends here from this deck? What's the most important message for them? Ooh, I have new moon. New moon. Let's read about it. That looks like an eclipse. 45. New moon, a new beginning, a fresh start, and an auspicious time to start new projects. Drawing this card invites you to begin again. Meditate on this at the new moon to bring new energy into your life. Write a list of intentions, dreams, goals, and wishes to support your new direction and invite in inspiration. The new moon is earth-based religions. The new moon in earth-based religions is a symbol of new beginnings and a fortunate time to plant new seeds for the future. So, yes, I think the moon cycle in general is like so important, and it can be really fun to play with when you're in the woo. But ultimately, yes, this is a new beginning for you, and I see that it's such a reclaiming of power. And I honestly feel like again, I feel like this is an eclipse energy, which are big, like, eclipses are like energetic tornadoes that push the energy into a whirlwind, and then it settles. By the time it settles, it's settling differently, but it's settling in a way that is more aligned and beneficial to you. And that's what I feel has occurred in this relationship, and how the reclaiming of your power, the reclaiming of your sovereignty. The energy now is starting to settle into newness, into this upgraded, updated vibration frequency that you're stepping into. And absolutely, I'd say have fun with manifesting with the moon. There's so many ways you can look up how to do that and just make it your own. Magic is yours to just create. So we're made of magic. Everything is magic. So just have fun. And everything is consciousness. So the moon has a consciousness. This is my personal opinion from what I've gathered from my own life experience. But I think the moon was brought here from a distant planet, a very, very old ancient planet. And I think it brings us a lot of wisdom from that time and from the consciousness of that planet. So I think it's a really great mirror for us to help us rise in our consciousness. And I think the moon in general is a very powerful consciousness when we choose to work with her. And especially, obviously, as women, as a woman, we cycle up with the moon. We absolutely cycle up with the moon. The moon controls all the tides, controls a lot that goes on in our bodies. I could go on and on about the moon. So, yeah. Enjoy this new beginning, and this is a great time to just plant seeds, do a little visualization, do a little journaling, do a little meditation, whatever that looks like in your life. Just have fun and don't take it too seriously. That's what I would say about it. Okay. All right, let's move on. I'm going to pull from the animal deck. Let's try this one. I always have the decks listed below in the description, FYI. What's the best message today for my friend? Best message. Thank you. Oh, we got two. We got claim your power and we got service. Nice. Claim your power came out on top, and I really think that's the one that needs to be talked about. They're both important. They will piggyback off each other, I'm sure. But I think that message is going to be important right where you are. Claim your power. This is the tiger. Anyone face to face with a tiger instantly shifts into a state of respect for her prolific power. Tiger summons you to connect with your greatest power, to overcome yourself, to overcome your doubts, fears, insecurities, and illusions of ego, and to use boundaries. Snaps. While many the animals in this deck ask you to be accepting of your emotions, when this card comes up, it means enough is enough. Tiger does not appear now with the feminine energy of allowing. This is the masculine energy of taking action and creating what you want. It is time to care more about the end goal than the heavy emotions you are currently feeling. The action called for here is snap out of the illusion and get your thoughts in gear. When you change your thoughts of the world around you changes. Get in control of your thoughts and transform the story you tell yourself. You are not your feelings, so stop mistaking them for your identity. Shift perspective, conquer your emotions, and carve the life you desire. You can no longer submit to the identities and definitions that you once projected onto yourself and others. It is time to move forward and initiate your power. When you stand in your greatness like a tiger, you have nothing to prove, for you just are. True power is not dictated or enforced. It is an energy that magnetizes others to want to help you in your cause. That's maybe where service comes in. Once someone has to prove and display their strength, they've already lost it. Tiger's medicine says stop playing the victim of circumstance. Your power is even greater than Tiger's. Yet you wallow in smallness and self-pity. How strange it is that one with so much power is so blinded by it. You feel imprisoned by your circumstances, yet the only prison is the story you painted over your circumstances. Tiger's medicine is to wake up, get real, change your story, change your life, claim your power. Nice. And I think as you are reclaiming your power right now, I really think that in itself brings service to the world, because I think that's a really important part to you. You're a person with a huge heart, and you want everyone just healthy, happy, and thriving. That would be ideal. And the more that you do that for yourself, the more that you focus on claiming back your power, you actually, because of the vibration that you're in, you help to rise up the world. Just simply based on that. It's like, it comes back to that, put your own oxygen mask on before assisting others. We have to do that. If we're just focused on, trying to save the world but coming from an empty cup, we're actually likely doing more harm than good, and we don't have the impact that we could have if we were in our full power. And that's what the message is about. It's like, okay, I just get you're still reviewing everything that happened in this past relationship and looking at yourself and reclaiming your power, and you're doing it in a strong way. But it's going to take time. It's not an overnight thing. It's not like a pressure, like you need to do it right now. It's more like, I like how it was a big emphasis on your thoughts, your feelings, your belief systems. Like, those are the things in review right now. It's funny, just before this, when I was getting ready to film, I was listening to a bunch of Joe Dispenza talks, and obviously Joe Dispenza is kind of an OG when it comes to the thought patternings and rewiring your brain and stuff like that. So if that calls to you, maybe revisit some of his work. And yeah, because I haven't listened to him for like years and years, and recently it was on my mind first time I'm listening to him today, so definitely corresponds with this reading. We are so powerful. We are so powerful. And it, not that it doesn't take work to reclaim your power when the pattern has been, the habit has been to give it away or to make yourself smaller, but that's changing in your life and in your vibrations. So as you're reclaiming your power, that's actually the greatest service that you can give the world. Okay, let's pull next from the Rainbow Brain Skull deck. What's the best message from this deck? Thank you. It says, the work is whatever uncomfortable thing that is in front of you right now at this moment. That is the work. That's the work. That's the work you're doing. It definitely could feel very uncomfortable in this moment to read about it. These are just short little messages. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. That's a quote from Joseph Campbell. A simple but difficult message. It is time to confront the uncomfortable and engage in whatever you're working so hard to avoid. Remember, even though you may not know what you need to do, you can know all the rewards waiting on the other side. Yeah. And I think this is work you're already doing. It is talking about the shadow work. You know, being real with yourself about like how I don't know, you abandoned yourself in this relationship, let's say. Yeah, maybe you crossed your own boundaries that you had set, and you have to look at yourself in that way. Many things. I could go on and on, but I really think you're picking up the gist of, you know exactly what this is. And it's not that it's easy, it's not that it's comfortable, but like this chapter of doing the work, when you're in it, it feels like you feel, for personally me, I was like, man, I feel like a victim. Like, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? This is the most miserable thing. And when you're going through it, it feels like it lasts so long. But then when you're out on the other side, when the things start to get lighter again, it's like, dang, I'm so glad I went through that. And also, that wasn't very long at all. Like, it really wasn't. So it's all about perspective. And right now, the most important thing is for you to just deal with what's here. Not escape it, not justify anything. It's just like, everything is here and now. Just be with it and use tools. The more that you work with the emotions and the everything, your belief systems, that work pays off. So don't be afraid to do the work. Don't just be idle with it either. Don't just let it sit there and fester. Feel and do what you need to do, but actually take some actions towards releasing the emotions. Breath work can be very powerful for this. I mentioned earlier, journaling, meditation, like you just do stuff to process the stuff, because once we're processing, then the emotions, energy in motion gets to move, and then it doesn't plague you in your body any longer. You can move that along, and it's a layered thing. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, but every layer, then you get a step closer to where you really want to be, where your higher self is nudging you along to this future reality, but it's already with you. It's just, this is the chapter you're in. Okay. All right, let's finally, for our last message, I'm going to pull from I Create My Reality deck. Last message from this deck. Embrace the transformation. When I changed the way I look at things, those when I change the way I look at things, those things also change. Instead of waiting for things to change your perspective. If you look closely enough, there's almost always something positive in every situation. Focus on that and let it shift the way you see things. You will find that this makes your life lighter and helps you flow. Yes. It's everything is perspective. Everything in life is neutral, and we're painting the meaning over it. Truly. Yeah. I just feel like this is right in line with everything that we've been talking about. And the plants going over her face here just makes me think like you're going so deeply into a transformation of identity, how you see yourself, and then how we see ourselves is how then we teach others to treat us, how the world responds to us, what we attract. You know, Joe Dispenza was saying like your personality becomes your personal reality. And that's what you're working on right now. Like I think about myself, like going through the breakup several years back, and I had such low self-esteem at that time, and I thought I was like there was something wrong with me. And now I know that that's not true. I learned a lot about myself, and I changed so much about how I see myself and my personality that now that's just not even a thing for me anymore. So it takes time, it takes effort, it takes work, no doubt, but I really think that the work you're doing, shedding the old belief systems, the old identities, and making space and room for what's to emerge is perfect and right in divine timing for you. Okay, so that includes your reading. I hope that it brought you some nourishment, and I hope it brought you clarity and some peace for your mind and heart. It's not everyone does this work. Not everyone listens to readings like this. So if you're here, I just want to acknowledge you and just say thank you for the work that you're doing, because the work you're doing in your own personal life helps to raise the consciousness as a whole. So it's a win-win situation, but it's not easy. But it's well worth it. So take your time, have a lot of gentleness with yourself, a lot of grace with yourself, and also claim your power. Don't be afraid to really do the work in this period. Okay, so you can like, subscribe, comment below how this reading resonated with you, and I have my link below to work with me as well. And that concludes this reading. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.